Yes guys, welcome back to Blades Focus. My name's Brett and this is Sheffield United vs Middlesbrough preview and prediction. So I believe you'll be seeing this sometime on Sunday afternoon, if not evening. We take on Middlesbrough on Monday night, 8:01 kickoff. Of course the reason the kickoff is 1 minute later is because the British Heart Foundation Every Minute Matters campaign. If you want to know more about that, go over to my TikTok. I made a full video about it. I recommend you go and watch it because it's a brilliant campaign. Of course it's going to be a very tough game. Middlesbrough flying near the top. Of course the joint top, as I'm filming this, Coventry will have played by the time I upload this, so regardless of the Coventry result, they'll be sitting second going into this match. And since Kim Elberg were appointed, they've actually gone to a new level. Both teams are coming off wins. Of course, we beat Oxford at home 3-1. They beat Norwich at home 1-0. But let's have a look at the form for both teams over the last 5 games, starting with United. In Sheffield United's last 5 games, they've won 2, lost 2 and drawn 1. We had a blip against Charlton and Southampton away, but then we bounced back with wins against Ipswich and Oxford at home and a draw with Millwall away in between. But as we're the hosts on Monday, I want to talk about our home form. Of course, we've not lost since the start of November. And we've certainly scored a lot of goals at home, of course. In the last 4 league games and 5 in all competition, we've scored 3 goals. Our form at home at Bramall Lane is absolutely brilliant at the moment. It's a fortress. And it'll be a real asset going into a tough game against Middlesbrough. As for Borough, they've won 5 in a row in the Championship, so that's fun. It's going to be no easy task to try and beat Borough because, of course, they're banging form, 5 wins in a row in the league. And they're scoring a lot of goals as well. 4 against Preston, 4 against Southampton, 3 against West Brom. So our defensive unit is going to need to have a massive game if we want to get anything from this. I mean, under Kim Elberg, they've been absolutely unstoppable and the results are showing it. Now I'm going to highlight one player from each team that I think you should look out for. Starting with Sheffield United. Like I mentioned, if you want to try and get something out of this match, we need a strong defence. And with Tanganga at the heart of the back line, he's going to need a massive performance. He's been a really solid player this season. He's had a couple of poor performances, but apart from that, he's been very consistent. If you look at these possession stats, the duels and aerial duels have just won so much by him. For duels, he's in the 86th percentile, was 158. And then aerial duels is the 89th percentile with 110. And I think with that Middlesbrough team, we need to win as many duels as we can, as many second balls. The defending stats is what I want to focus on because despite being in a poor team, he's got some brilliant stats. I mean, he's got plenty of green bars here, including interceptions and blocked shots. He's intercepted the ball 37 times, which is in the 90th percentile. And then he's blocked 26 shots, which is in the 92nd percentile. Which means he's one of the best defenders in the league and getting himself in the way of their blocked shots and intercepting passes. And he's only committed 26 fouls, which is in the 91st percentile. That stat proves he does well with nifty attackers who want to try and buy that foul. And that means he can stop the attack from them players by not fouling them. Like I mentioned before, we need to try and limit Middlesbrough as much as possible attacking wise. And I think Tanganga alongside Bindon are the perfect pair to do that. Moving on to Borough now, I've gone for Hayden Hackney. We need to shut him down as much as we can. Because I'd say so far this season he's been the best player in the Championship. I think in that midfield for Borough he can just about do anything. So we need to try and block him off and get him out of that game as much as possible. Because everything good that Middlesbrough do definitely comes through him. I mean, look at his stats here. It's just green bars after green bars. Compared to other midfielders in the 97th percentile for expected goals. And stuff like shots, he's on 71, which is in the 100th percentile. And he's had 18 shots on target, which is in 98th percentile. Moving on to passing now, we know how good he is with the ball at his feet. I mean, 1,574 successful passes is just mental. And that's in 98th percentile compared to other midfielders. And 55 chances created as well, that's also 98th percentile. And he's in the 90th percentile for big chances created and successful crosses. Moving on to possession now, the successful dribbles in the 100th percentile for that one. He's had 42 successful dribbles, and although the success rate is low, he knows he can do it again. He's got that sort of ability on the pitch where one dribble goes wrong, he can just try again and again. He's not brilliant at aerial duels, but ground duels is his forte. He's won 146 duels, which is the 96th percentile. I mean, the touches amaze me as well, 2,474 touches. And that amount of touches puts him in the 98th percentile. And he likes to be in and around the opposition box, of course, 86 touches in the opposition box, which is 100th percentile. And he's also a brilliant defender as well, which definitely helps in that midfield. I mean, the recoveries is 171, which is 100th percentile. And he's also in the 100th percentile for possession won in the final third with 23. And if you look at fouls won versus fouls committed, you can see that sort of player that knows when not to foul and knows when to get in the way of a foul. I mean, I'll be honest, I have no idea how we're going to stop him. He's just that good in the midfield. And he'll be a top player in the Premier in the next couple of years, I'm telling you now. Now it's time to move on to the predicted lineup. Starting off in net, there's no question about it, it's going to be Michael Cooper. Of course, he had a howler against Oxford, but he's got enough credit in the bank for now. I mean, he produced a brilliant couple of performances against Ipswich and Millwall. And we're going to need them sort of performances today if we have any chance of beating Middlesbrough because they will attack. So we need to hope we have the Michael Cooper of last season, not this season. At right back, of course, it's Femi Sariki. Who else is it going to be? He's slowly developed into a brilliant talent at right back. He's definitely been one of our best players this season, one of the most consistent. He always has them 7 out of 10 performances, if not better. I mean, I can't remember the last time he had a really bad game. I mean, even when he's not at his best, he's still a decent little player at right back. And we'll be looking at a player like Sariki down the right hand side to change the outcome of the game. At right centre back, I've gone for Tanganga. Of course, I spoke about him in this preview. I keep mentioning this, we need a strong defence because Middlesbrough will score a few goals. But I have full trust in Tanganga to sort it out because him and Bindon recently have been brilliant at the back. He had a decent little game against Oxford on his return from suspension. And I think even when the team's been struggling at times, he's definitely been a consistent performer in this team. At left centre back, I've gone for Tyler Bindon. He's been getting better and better every week. I know I keep mentioning it, but he's been such such a turnaround from the start of the season to now with Bindon. At the start of the season, he was quite poor under Ruben Sellers, and I think 99% of fans thought we'd never seen him play for United again. He'd go back in January, but since he had to come on against Stoke at half time, he's been absolutely magnificent, and he's just growing in confidence as a player every single week. And it's got to the stage now, look at signing him on a permanent this summer. Obviously, it's not easy stepping into the Championship. Of course, when you get written off after the first few games, it's not brilliant, but he's just got on with it at United, and when he's got his chance, he's thrived. And I think that speaks for his character as a person as well as a player. At left back, I think Harrison Burrows will carry on in Sam McCallum's absence. I thought Harrison Burrows had one of the better games this season against Oxford, because he has been quite poor this season. He got displaced by Sam McCallum at the start of the season, but we're going to need someone like him on top form towards the end of the season if we want to try and get playoffs, because he showed last season the sort of qualities he can bring to the team with them assists down that left-hand side. And I'm hoping this running the team now can make him a better player like he was last season. The first centre mid, I've gone for Sidney Peck. Of course, he got his goal against Oxford, and I think it was a massive part of why we won that game against Oxford. Of course, breaking that low block down. It was pulling strings in that midfield against Oxford. Of course, broke down that low block like I mentioned. But the Middlesbrough game will be completely different, a big challenge for him. But this last season or two, when he's been in the team, he's thrived off these challenging games. Alongside Peck, I think he'll give Joe Rothwell his debut. Of course, he couldn't play against Oxford because he was signed too late, but he'll get his debut against Middlesbrough, I think. And I think it's clear to see that Arblaster isn't ready to start games just yet. I mean, he could start Soumare, but he was quite poor against Oxford, so I think he will start Rothwell with that bit of experience. I think he said about Calvin Phillips, he's not ready to start just yet, but he will be coming off the bench, having an impact. Of course, Joe Rothwell himself hasn't played too much this season, but he's played more than Phillips, so I've gone for him. And I think he'll bring that quality experience in that midfield that could win us the game. On the right, if he is fit for this game, I go for Andre Brooks. Of course, he went off injured in that game against Oxford. Of course, got time for a goal first. But I mean, he's got 3 goals in 3 games now. He's on some brilliant form. And hopefully gets his chance against Middlesbrough to make it 4-4. I mean, him and Sariki are just such a joy to watch on that right-hand side. He's just so brilliant. And he's the sort of player that can make the difference in these sort of games with that attacking threat. Because, I mean, he's not afraid to take on his man at all, really. And I'm looking forward to see how he develops the rest of the season. In the 10, I'd go for Callum O'Hare. This system's worked really well at the moment with him just behind the striker in this 4-2-3-1. And I can't see any reason why he'd get dropped and why it would change. Of course, the goals and assists have dried up a little bit recently, but he still impacts games massively. And he's the sort of player in that midfield with that tenacity to match Hayden Hackney. And in most games, O'Hare manages to cover every blade of grass. On the left, of course, is going to be Gus Armour. Who else is it going to be? Of course, he's on brilliant form at the moment at the right time, getting 4 assists in 3 games. And of course, we'll be looking at the flanks at this game to try and win it with Armour on the left, Brooks on the right. And I mean, at the moment, he's just such a joy to watch on the left-hand side. That assist to the Ogbene goal against Oxford was just magnificent. And I think superlatives don't do enough to justify this man's performances at times, because he's an absolute joy to watch. And then up front, I go for Tom Cannon again. I thought he was alright against Oxford, to be fair, making some decent runs. Of course, got an assist. And I mean, with Bamford still being out for the game, I think it's between Cannon and Campbell. I think Cannon takes it. Like I mentioned, against Oxford, I think he made some brilliant runs, just didn't get noticed at times. And I think at times, in the last few games, he's been quite unlucky and he's definitely due a goal. And he's a sort of player that could be useful in breaking Middlesbrough defence down with them runs. Overall, it's going to be such a tough game. Of course, they're going to bring their A game. But I'm going to go optimistic. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. And I think it'll be Harmer and Brooks on the score sheet. And there we go, guys. That's my full match preview and prediction for the game against Middlesbrough. I just want to say a massive thank you for the support recently. It's been immense on this channel. It's been going now for about a month and I'm loving every second of it. If you haven't seen the content before, leave this video a like, go subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.